Soul Simmers, welcome to the Builders Bootcamp, your ultimate training ground for learning how to build in The Sims. Whether you're a beginner or someone who's looking to level up their skills, this series will take you from the beginner tips to the pro level builds. This is the 2025 updated edition of the series that I did in 2022, since we've had quite a couple of build updates in The Sims, and it will cover everything that you need to know to create your dream builds in the game. So grab your blueprints and let's get to building. In episode 12 of the Builders Bootcamp, we are going to go over all the cheats that are relevant for building in The Sims. These are cheats to increase money, to get more freedom in building, and to unlock certain features of the game that are normally hidden behind the cheats, for instance. We're going to start very basic and build our way up to more specific, in-depth, or pack-specific cheats. So let's go into the game so that I can actually show you. So when you open the game, there are a couple of cheats that I would even recommend adding before you go into build mode. So no matter what, load up your save, and then to open the cheats menu, in case you don't know this, you press Ctrl-Shift-C on your keyboard. As you can see in the top corner here, there is now a white bar where we can type. If you ever want to get rid of the cheats menu or the cheat box, you can basically just press escape and it will disappear again. The first cheat that I would recommend that you enable, which will also have effect on your gameplay, is the testing cheats true. This basically unlocks all the other cheats, or not all, but most other cheats in the game for you to then play with. The testing cheats is basically a mode that the developers of the game use to use cheats and to test the game, but if you enable it, it basically allows you more options. You're also going to notice this in gameplay. If you're ever curious about all the things that you can see in gameplay, feel free to check out my gameplay tips video. I've linked it down below, which will go more in depth of, like, for instance, shift clicking on a sim and how that will affect it when you have testing cheats enabled. To show you how it works, you're just going to type testing cheats space true and hit enter. The box will not give you a confirmation for this one. Don't worry, you've still done it right. Something that is important is some cheats will actually give you a confirmation and some cheats won't. If you notice that the cheat didn't work because you're trying to do follow-up cheats and they don't work, feel free to go back and just type it again. I believe you can also type testing cheats on and it should also work. So whichever feels most comfortable to you or whichever one you can remember, both should work if I remember correctly. I personally have a mod that always turns this cheat on because I don't ever want to play my game with it off, but it is a relatively easy cheat to just quickly enter as soon as you start up your game. From here, we're actually going to go into a build mode or live mode with an active sim to show you some of the following cheats. Some of the cheats that obviously cannot stay unmentioned in this video are money cheats. Any money cheat that was working in previous Sims games still works in this Sims game. So if you, for instance, type Rosebud, the real OGs will know it will give you 1,000 simoleons. Kaching also still works, also gives you 1,000 simoleons. And Motherload obviously also still works, it gives you 50,000 simoleons. Then another cheat that is actually super convenient, specifically if you want to play more freely with your money and not just get money or get like 50,000 in one go, is the money cheat. This is a cheat where testing cheats is essential, so if you haven't enabled that in the first step, you're gonna have to enable it now. But what you can do is you can actually type money and then set any amount that you want for your Sims. So she currently has 50. Let's say that I want to make sure that she has 100. I type 100 and it will add 50. This is also really nice for, let's say that you're doing storytelling and you are trying to say that your Sim maybe invested in something and it went wrong, or you're trying to adjust your Sim's money. You can just type money and set it to any amount that you think your Sim should have. AKA, you can just give them almost 10 million if you wanted to. Obviously, money cheats are also relevant for gameplay, but I know that a lot of you guys, if you are not in free build mode and you're trying to give your Sim a little bit of extra money to finish your build, this is going to be relevant for the start. Now that your Sim has enough money to make your dream build, let's actually go into build mode so I can show you a couple of cheats there. In previous episodes, we already talked about the bb.moveobjects cheat, but considering this is the cheats episode, let's actually talk about it again. bb.moveobjects is a cheat that is going to be essential for builders. It is a cheat that will allow you to basically let objects intersect, place them closer together. As you can see, I already have it on because I am allowed to do this. If you go into the text box and you type bb.moveobjects off. Now the cheat is off. You will see that I'm not allowed to place the sofa and like have it be close to the other one. I can't even place it back where I originally had it. If I want to turn it on again, I just type bb.moveobjects on, and it's back on, and now I'm allowed to put things closer together. This is a cheat that is going to come in super clutch if you're trying to make builds that are more cozy, that feel like the spacing of things just makes a little bit more sense. The only downside of this cheat is sometimes it will allow you to place things so close together that they no longer function, so it might make your builds a bit more playtest heavy, meaning that you're going to have to try if everything works before you actually start playing in it. Then the next cheat is going to be all about unlockable items. So I don't know if you've ever noticed in Sims gameplay, or maybe you've seen it in people's Sims gameplay, is that when you are playing through careers, when you are playing through challenges, when you are playing through certain parts of their life in university, your sim can unlock build buy items. The thing is, if you are building, you will see that there's a little lock icon and it will tell you, become a starter in the college soccer team to unlock the soccer team playbook, or the fact that you need to reach a certain skill, or the fact that you, again, need to be at a certain level of a career, etc. This is fun for gameplay, however, sometimes you just want to use those items in your build already. You can actually unlock these items by entering a cheat. What you're going to do is you're going to bring up the cheats menu again, and I actually copy pasted this one because this is a long cheat, and I can actually recommend you copy paste this one as well. It is called bb.ignoregameplayunlocksentitlement. All in one go, all in one word. No spaces. You don't have to type space on after this one. It's literally just bb.ignoregameplayunlocksentitlement. Once you hit enter, the cheat should be on. What you're going to have to do is you're going to quickly have to refresh that category for the cheat to take effect. And now, as you can see, that soccer book that was locked before, we can actually use it in building. This is super nice if you don't plan on doing extensive gameplay, if you enjoy the idea of immediately having things unlocked. Of course, if you want to do gameplay where you're actually going to unlock these items, maybe you don't want to enter this cheat. Every single time that you're going to load into the lot again, this cheat should have turned itself off. If that doesn't happen, I believe you can enter the cheat again and it will turn itself off, but it should every single time that you load into a lot to build have disabled this again so that you no longer have access to these items. So now that you know how to unlock items from careers and skills and stuff like that, how about we talk about unlocking even more items? Because like I've told you in the landscaping episode, there are things called debug and live edit objects. Debug objects are things that your sim will use when they are playing the game. So let's say that you open the fridge and your sim will grab things to cook with. You know those items that are not in the build by catalog anywhere, but you will see them in game when you're playing the game itself. Those items are called debug objects, and you can actually unlock them in the build by catalog as well. On top of that, you see a bunch of items in the world around your sim. Things like these lampposts or these trees, or maybe you see the fire hose over here, or maybe, let's see, what else do we see? Or maybe even things like this bridge or these stepping stones over here. Anything that is used to build the world around your sims is called live edit objects, and you can actually unlock those to build with them yourself. To unlock those, you're gonna actually have to enter some longer cheats, and you have to enter them in the right order. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring up the cheats menu with Ctrl-Shift-C, and from there you're gonna start by typing testing cheats true. Even if you've already enabled this cheat, I can highly recommend just doing it again, because if it's already turned on, it won't turn off by doing this cheat. And if anything went wrong earlier, it is nice to just be sure that you've turned it on as the first step, because without testing cheats, the following two cheats will not work. Then you're gonna type bb.showHiddenObjects and hit enter. As you can see in my catalog, it immediately started to show objects that weren't there before. Those are the debug items. So for instance, when a toilet is broken, your sim can go and fix the toilet, and sometimes they'll pull out a plunger, and that's the gameplay item. You can also see there's an apple here, which is the item that your sim will use when they're eating an apple. Again, these are things that your sim uses in game. Then next up, you're gonna type bb.showLiveEditObjects and hit enter. If you've entered both of the cheats correctly, you now should have unlocked the items. Something that is important to take in mind is that I have a mod in my game right now which sorts these items into the right category, meaning that these items sorted here into the hobbies and skills category, normally you wouldn't see them there. I'm gonna get to this mod because if you want to, I will talk about this mod in the next and last episode of the Builders Bootcamp, which is all gonna be about mods for builders. Just know that if you don't have this mod, the debug and live edit category in The Sims are non-existent. Once you've enabled all the cheats, what you're gonna have to do to actually see the items, you're gonna have to go to Objects by Function, Show All, go into the search bar, and without typing anything, hit enter. I'm gonna show you before I hit enter that if you scroll all the way down, you don't see any live edit objects items. You will actually find debug items if you're scrolling this category, but again, they're not sorted, so you're gonna have to scroll and just find them. If you want, you can sometimes also search for debug. I have personally found that doesn't always show everything, so I would go for the route that I'm explaining now if you don't want to use mods, and that is to go into Objects by Function, Show All. Like you can see, there's nothing here right now. Without typing anything, you're gonna press enter, and it's gonna look like the game is not really doing anything. You're just gonna have to wait for a little bit because what the game is gonna do is it's gonna load everything in. As soon as it refreshes, you'll be back at the top. You can actually scroll all the way down, and now you will find that there are a lot of live edit items from all of the packs that you have that will just be randomly in this catalog. So you're gonna have debug items, like small things that your Sims can use. You're gonna have live edit items that are used to decorate the world, and all of a sudden all these things are at your disposal to build with. Things from But 2 are available, but like I said, these things are not sorted. So you're gonna have to go and scroll through the catalog and like find all the things, which is obviously not super ideal, but it will give you access to all the items. And one of the best things in this is that all of the items in this catalog are also going to contain the free plants, because all the worlds that are decorated with landscaping, all the plants that are used are actually free. So you'll get a ton of free rocks that you can use to decorate with. You'll get like a ton of free plants that you can use to decorate with. For instance, this beautiful flower pot is 0 simoleons. So it is worth it to go into debug and live edit. However, the process of using it can be a little bit tedious because the cheats are long and the catalog gets a little bit messy. So again, if you're interested and you are open to modding your game, I can highly recommend watching the next episode of the Builders Bootcamp. But for those who are on console or those that don't want to mod their game, you can still access all of these items by typing those cheats in the right order, then going to the Objects by Function, Show All, and basically just hit enter on the empty search bar for everything to show up. As you can see, the build catalog now is also huge. It basically is also showing all the landscaping. It is showing all the build items like doors, windows, everything. It is showing all these cars and things that are normally not visible but are just used as decoration in the world. You will actually find so many items, and I can highly recommend scrolling through. It is definitely worth it. There are some super hidden gems. And then if you like them and you enjoy building with it, you can always upgrade to a mod later if you just want to check it out at first. That actually covers all the cheats that you can do on a lot itself. However, there are a couple of more cheats that are related to building. So for that, I'm actually going to go back to the Manage Worlds view, and then I can explain the difference. So when you are in World View, there is actually one cheat that is super overpowered, but I love to use it, especially in my Let's Plays, because sometimes for storytelling, you don't want your sim to move into a starter home, build up a lot of funds, then move into a bigger home. You just want your sim to start in the nicest house possible. And of course, you can create a sim, move them into a cheap house, do the money cheats, and then move them out. But sometimes you just want to immediately go to the new house. You don't want to go through the hassle of doing all the money cheats, especially if you're new to a game, you create a sim, you don't want to first move them into another house to be able to do the money cheats. There is actually a little workaround for this. So what you can do is you bring up the cheats menu on the world view before you move in the household. That is important. You cannot do this when you are already trying to move with a household. You have to enter this cheat before. But what you can type is Freerealestate on. And this will actually give you a confirmation that the cheat is on. And now any house, your sim will just be able to move into it without paying for it. Your sim will literally get the house and the furniture for free. Once your sim is in there, you can obviously change the money if you wanted to have it a bit more realistic, that your sim won't have 20,000 left or even more. But this is a super nice cheat if you're trying to merge households, move sims for storytelling. It is just nice to not have to worry about the money and move them somewhere and do all the money cheats. If you ever want to turn this cheat off, you just bring back the cheat box, type Freerealestate off, and the cheat is off again. And then there are 2 more cheats that are relevant specifically to a couple of expansion packs, because there are some worlds in this game which by default you cannot build on the lot. One of the examples is if you have the university pack, and I always lose it, there we go, in Brightchester. There are certain lots in this world where you won't be able to build by default. You won't be able to adjust the build up here, for instance, so you will be able to actually redecorate it, but you won't be able to change the full build and just freely delete what is already there and then build something new. If you still want to do that, you're gonna have to bring up the cheats box and you're gonna type, I'm gonna copy and paste it just so that I don't make any typos. And I can highly recommend that you copy and paste cheats like this as well, but it's called bb.enablefreebuild. As soon as you do that, it will give you the confirmation that free build mode is enabled. This allows you to build on any lot. So also if you have the Get Together expansion pack, there are a couple of lots in Windenburg, which by default you cannot change. You can travel there, you can sort of redecorate them, but you cannot change the existing structure of the walls and the doors and stuff. If you still want to do that, you're gonna need this cheat for it. And then lastly, I have one more cheat that is related to building, and that is if you have the For Rent expansion pack and you do want to build rental units, there is a cap on how many rental units you can have per save file. I want to warn you guys with this one though, at the time of recording this video, there are a lot of issues with the For Rent expansion pack breaking save files, and I would not want to be the person that advises you or teaches you how to increase your rental unit cap, and then I'm responsible for breaking your game. So before you enter this cheat, please make sure to do your research if the issues with this pack are fixed, and if so, if it is still safe to increase the rental unit cap, because I would not want to advise you to do this and then you will end up with a broken game. However, I do feel like it is a relevant cheat to building, so I also wouldn't want to leave it out of this guide if in the future EA fixes this pack. They have acknowledged the problem, they are working on it, so it's not like they are not talking about it at all, but it is a very persistent issue and it hasn't been fixed for the past 6 months. To give you a little bit of context of what the unit cap means, it is not how many rentals you can have in a save file, it is how many rental units you can have on a single lot. By default, you can have a maximum of 6 rental units, which obviously will add up to a total that you are allowed to have in your save file. You can adjust the amount of rental units you are allowed to have in a save file as a total. I personally don't know the cheat for this. I tried to do some research. I only know a mod that allows you to take off that cap, but I don't know the cheat for it. So this cheat is purely to increase your rental cap on a specific lot, meaning that you will be able to make like 7 or 8 or 10 units on one single lot. What you're gonna do is you're gonna bring up the cheats menu, and I copy and pasted it to make sure that I didn't make any typos, but it is bb.increaserentalunitcap off, and as soon as you hit enter, it says updated the rental unit cap. This basically means that from now on, you are allowed to do more than 6 on a lot. If you want to turn this back on because you do want to restrict yourselves to 6, you basically type the exact same cheat but then with the on command after it, and then it will tell you that they updated the rental unit cap as well. Again, use this cheat with caution. Make sure that you know what you're doing, but I still wanted to share it because I know for some building purposes, it might be nice to have 7 instead of 6 rental units on one lot, and I didn't want to hold back on this one. That, however, does cover all the building cheats that I would like to give you. If there is anything else that you think I've missed, feel free to hop in the comments and add to this. I always love it when the comments of videos that I make, specifically tutorial videos, end up being sort of a knowledge base for people to scroll through and learn even more in addition to what I'm already teaching in the video itself. Like I said, this is the second to last video of the Builders Bootcamp. The next video and the last video of the Builders Bootcamp is going to be all about mods for building. So if you're interested, feel free to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss it when it comes out. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone!